Hello, 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 and welcome to Chill Mountain Radio. I'm your host, Topo.
And I'm Kat, and we're back to talking about video games and pop culture tonight.
Let's go. Wow. I don't know what that was. Yeah, we're gonna be talking. There's actually some good news out there. Well, I guess it depends on how you look at it, but there's news out there going on right now. Today we're actually at my brother's hanging out, so I brought the equipment, and that's
One of
why.
the
Yeah, you
biggest
might
gamers we know, honestly.
Yeah, which was the perfect. He's actually away right now, doing adult stuff. Well, doing human stuff in general, but anyways, so yeah, we're gonna be talking about a couple things tonight. Actually, I don't even know where I put my phone. Oh, is this it? This is it. I actually made a list of things that I was like, oh, we can talk about this. We
Ooh,
can
a
talk
list.
about that. And we
You
can
know
talk
I
about...
like lists a lot.
So let's see, podcast things to talk about. Let's see. Yes, the EU, the tech laws going on in the EU, which happened, I believe, last week.
Please touch base.
Well, I'm going to read through Microsoft purchasing Bethesda and company for $7.5 million. That was another exciting one.
Oh, wow.
The Zack Snyder cut of Justice League was leaked through Tom and Jerry movie, which was interesting.
Yeah.
And I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about two of my favorite games, which is kind of relevant to the whole Bethesda thing. Skyrim versus Oblivion. My brother...
Being a big...
Skyrim. Well, he likes both, but he's more of Skyrim. I'm more Oblivion.
Right.
So yeah, the EU tech laws that just came out. I was just reading on Reddit the other day, and I looked more into it with everything going on. But yeah, it seems as though the EU passed some new tech laws. I can't remember because I read this last week. I just remember some of the information I retained was that, if I'm correct, a lot of the technology I believe that goes through and hits their markets and stuff, in order for it to really be considered to come through, it has to make you have to make sure it lasts almost 10 years, I believe they said.
Ah, that's right.
Yes, and you have to
that's
make sure that people at home can fix their own stuff, so it's not like illegal to take apart your own technology to try and fix it because you
right.
own
They
it.
can't charge you for opening a piece of technology that you
Mhm.
thought might have been faulty,
And
and then saying, it voids
I
the
feel
warranty, or
I
you
feel
know,
as though that's a huge issue in the States.
huge issue here in the
Um,
United States. I feel
is
like
you like if you get an Xbox or a PlayStation, if you break the seal, you're not allowed to bring it back to sell, which is fair. But I also think that if they just plug it in and check it out, they'll see it's fine.
right.
So yeah, there's a lot of tech up here and out here that you really can't. And so I think that this will kind of trickle affect us. It's mostly for them, but if technology is being made that good to go out there, it's going to be made that good to come over here.
I'm hoping so. I
prices
hope it'll be
may-
like a domino effect.
The prices may also be affected, obviously. So that's kind of,
And that's really big, in my opinion, too, because it means other countries are recognizing, planned obsolescence within
Yes, which
electronics and technology.
is a
Which is
very common
something-
thing. You have the Joy-Cons with the drifting controllers. I mean, we got an Xbox
Even-
control that we just bought last year for
Last
Black
year,
Friday,
yeah.
and it's barely even made it till this Black Friday. And
It's already starting to glitch out, and
I'm
it's
pretty decent about taking care of my stuff. Like I might drop it or, drop it.
as
And I
every
don't
gamer
really-
says, drop their controller.
I'll like frustratingly let the control go to the ground, and like I won't do that all the time. That's like once a blue moon, but that's the most I put that control through, and it's still like my left trigger. I can barely hold it without it jamming up. Our Joy-Cons, thankfully, have yet to show any issues. The PlayStation controls seem to have held up the most.
Yeah, honestly, the PlayStation.
But then at the same time, I just
controls-
thought about that. No, they didn't. We had like 4, and I'm pretty sure all 4 have been busted, and like we only have a barely
Kick the can,
working
yeah.
blue one.
Yeah, and it's just like these are tough pieces of plastic that are not meant to break down easily, so
Well, they say they're
in
not meant to break
terms
down
of like
easily.
conservation and environmentalism,
But I also think that
I can appreciate what the EU is doing.
Nintendo's just had this really weird reputation, with they pretty much shut down any shops that were making up their own Joy-Cons for people and
Yes,
stuff
3D
like that.
printing,
Yeah, 3D
right?
printing and all that. So it's like they've pretty much restricted.
Where you can get merchandise.
If it's not from them, you can't get it at all. And I
Right.
don't think that's fair. I believe that there should be more of an open market. There's a lot of people out there making controllers for PlayStation and Xbox. They're cheaper. They're not the best, but sometimes they turn out to be better.
Yeah, definitely, and I think buyers should
It's just
have that
robbing, yeah,
option.
it's just robbing the market.
There's
of
always going to be the
potential.
people that want the authentic name
Yeah,
brand.
and,
Opening
some
the
people
market isn't
also-
gonna destroy Nintendo's
Some people
consumerism.
also customize very pretty pieces of
art
yeah, for
on
people. They
Yeah.
3D print some really nice looking Joy-Cons. Even some people would make these. My brother has this one device for his Switch that you can put the Joy-Cons into the bottom, and it holds up the Switch like a screen so that you can look closer while you're playing, and it almost feels like
using the handheld, right?
using the controller with the TV a little higher up. It's nice.
The Nintendo,
Yeah,
the
it's-
Switch itself, the
It's
screen,
interesting, but so
Yeah.
it kind of robs the market of stuff like that.
nifty little
Other than
innovative
that,
inventions, but
Microsoft bought Bethesda and company, so I believe that's like ZeniMax Studios and all those followers and all that go under the one brand for $7.5 million, which is huge.
wow.
Because Bethesda, obviously, Elder Scrolls, Fallout series, several
Right.
others you can name, but those are their 2 most recognized, I believe. And so, very interesting because going forward, this could mean some of these games might just become exclusive to Xbox. And PlayStation has had a
I
very
see.
big
Right.
market when it comes to exclusives. You've got the Spider-Man series. They have the rights to Spider-Man, Sony, so they can make any Spider-Man game they want and don't have to release it on an Xbox. And they have had success with PlayStation's Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man, and then Miles Morales, which I have yet
They
to play.
Definitely have, yeah.
Then they've had God of War, which was, the
I
1 year.
can't wait to
The
play
1
that.
year for the 3 games of the years, I'm pretty sure all 3 like most of the games on that list were PlayStation exclusives, and they were all like games we owed.
Right.
So this is pretty big because I do think that Microsoft Xbox itself does need some stronger solo games. I think it needs some stronger Xbox only titles.
Yeah. I think I could agree with that
Fable
too.
is going to be one of them, which is exciting.
Which I'm very excited for because that's like a series
you love.
I'm
actually playing Fable 1 right now. I got back into it, and it's actually been quite enjoyable.
And funny.
Yeah, it is. Oh, God. Chicken
it still
Chaser.
stands the test of time.
Yes, it has the same charm it did when I first played it years ago. But yeah, so this is a very interesting ordeal because, like I said, Microsoft getting these exclusive rights can mean a lot of exclusive games to Xbox consoles. Just in general, the Xbox market. I don't think that they will put Fallout and Elder Scrolls exclusive. They might make one of them exclusive,
but not both.
And if you ask me, I think they should make Fallout the exclusive. I find that the Elder Scrolls has high profit on all consoles, where Fallout, on the other hand, I've only ever played Fallout on an Xbox.
Yeah, that's I'd say a pretty fair assessment too.
So I think that might be the direction because I've heard that they are going to make exclusive games specifically only for Xbox. So that'll be exciting to see. I know that recently, maybe past couple months, the Star Wars title is now not just EA exclusive anymore. That's going to be going out. There's some works. There's some word that there's a nice Coder game in the works, Knights of the Old Republic.
Yep.
I've mentioned that to you before. But this was to lead to my next topic, which was Skyrim or Oblivion. Yes. I know that I've introduced you to Oblivion. And I believe
Skyrim.
I thought you've had prior experience with Skyrim.
I'd say,
maybe
a little
bit,
but not enough to say that I've really had the experience until you. And our friend Matt, who owns a copy of Skyrim on every possible format console. And then we also bought him
we
for
bought him the
VR
version. So he has...
But I have to say...
I wish he was here for this conversation as well.
Yeah, me too.
I know he'll be listening.
But shout out to you, boy.
Hey, Doodle. Hey, Doodle.
We know you're a Skyrim fan.
Hey, Doodle, we know you're listening. Hey, Doodle, I need your opinion.
I'd say, with like my little bit of experience, Oblivion definitely stands out to me.
Yes, I have a preference for Oblivion. My brother has a preference for Skyrim. We both have good reasons. I'll be the first to say, and I had to pick this topic for this episode because I'm playing both of them right now. Oblivion, I'm playing not modded, and Skyrim, I am playing modded, which is already my first point, is that Oblivion, I know Oblivion has some weird mods. I will never play them because I have it on Xbox, but I love the game. I love that game so much. I have like so many fond memories of that game. So many little tips and tricks and things that I discovered on my own. This was back in a time where
still discovering.
I didn't have internet back then, so a lot of the stuff I had to figure out on my own.
Right, you didn't have guides to go to.
I didn't know that there were places you can go to look up a way to get past certain things, and I was one of those people that if I thought something was too hard to do in the game, especially Oblivion, I'd always find a way around. And it's what got me to love games that would let you do that. And Skyrim lets you do that as well.
Finding the second options.
Finding the seconds and the thirds, and sometimes options that the people who made the game didn't even realize were options.
Could be an option.
And Oblivion was like an introductory to that for me. There'd be some times where I'd find a cave door and I'd go through it, and I wasn't supposed to go through that just yet. So I'd find some really cool things in there for like a later quest.
Yeah.
Like the Sword of Umbra, the Armor of Umbra, which is something you're not supposed to get until you're like level 60.
Yeah.
But you've seen me get it at level 3.
Yes.
And that's because I know that there's tricks and stuff. And, it's just I have fond memories of the game. But I think the thing that stood out the most to me is you were not the most important person in the world.
Right.
In that game, you were helping the most important person in the game.
Yeah, you were like a side character in somebody else's...
You were the champion, almost. Like a champion is someone... You're not the most important thing, but like you're the thing that blocks anyone from the most important thing.
Right.
And it's like, I like that. Skyrim, you are the most important thing, and yet it does not feel like you are the most important thing. You've feel as if you're not, and you're like the second most important thing.
Yeah.
And that feels weird in a game where you're literally a dragon incarnated into a human's body, yelling people off of mountains.
Right. You would think that you would be treated much differently than what you are.
Also, we have my brother's kitty, Hinata.
Who's being such a little sweetie.
Yes.
I have to go get our dessert out of the oven.
Do you?
Yeah.
All right, well, she's going to go do that. I'm going to talk into both of our microphones. I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that. Skyrim is not a bad game. I like Skyrim. It's a fun game. Really fun game. It's just not for me Oblivion. Like I said, the horses in Skyrim also creep me out a bit. They're beefy and they're useless. In Oblivion, they were kind of useless too, but I don't know. They felt more fun and fluid. I think it's just preference, honestly. I think Skyrim in the long run is the superior game. I just prefer my Oblivion. I'm trying to think. What else did I mention on the list? Let me see. I have to hold her microphone because we're not using the stands at the moment, so you're gonna hear a lot of bumps and stuff. Oh yeah, the Snyder Cut leaked. That's right. So the Justice League Snyder Cut leaked on HBO. It was on the Tom and Jerry movie. It pretty much, I don't know what happened. I didn't actually look much into it. I just thought it was hysterical. But people turned on Tom and Jerry to watch that, and said they had gotten the intro to the Snyder Cut of Justice League. And apparently there's a trick. If you kept going back or whatever and starting it over, it would then continue playing the movie every time it tried to stop. So there was like a workaround to see the whole movie. And your audio is off. Now you can say you're back.
And I'm back. Mango shortbread.
Yes, she's making there's Hinata right behind you.
Little sweet kitten.
She's like, go run.
Kittens are so much fun.
Wow, thing.
As you were saying, though, about the
Snyder Cut? Oh,
yeah.
I was just explaining, basically people had found a workaround to watch the complete movie on the basically the movie somehow was like swapped with Tom and Jerry. So it was Tom and Jerry the title, it was Tom and Jerry the description, but when you clicked it, it was the Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League. I'm pretty sure that Mike is gonna pick her up doing that. It's fine. She's so cute. She's like dragging her toy around. But yeah, so that was a pretty interesting thing to happen. She's like, give me the toy. I'm trying to figure out what else.
Where did that happen exactly?
Oh, it happened on the HBO Max.
Oh.
On the HBO Max app, yeah. Like we could have probably gone and caught the glitch if we had been.
That's actually funny, yeah.
So it was pretty intense. I'm not going to watch it. I have no interest in it. I saw the Justice League, and just in general, I didn't really care for the plot.
No.
There's just this big thing in Hollywood that I feel a lot of these superhero movies, and I think Marvel does it right. It seems as though with DC, they're trying to treat all their movies the same. You know, and it seems like Wonder Woman switched it up a bit, but I heard that 1984 was not the best. Not as good as the first one.
Especially for the way it was hyped up to...
It was really hyped up.
It was really hyped up.
You know, like Black Widow, they haven't hyped up too much. There were trailers. COVID happened, so they put it off. They let it die out a little bit. WandaVision happened, blew us away.
Oh my God, WandaVision, guys.
Next week we're getting Falcon Winter Soldier.
Right, which we will definitely...
You know, there's going to be...
test drive that.
Oh, we're going to watch it. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
It'll give us something to talk about on the podcast, so...
I know, but oh my God, guys, WandaVision. Can we just, like, talk about that for a second?
Spoiler alert, if you have not seen... If you have not seen WandaVision, I would advise you to just probably skip the rest of this episode. It's alright. It's okay. She is having the time of her life, and I'm okay with it, honestly. Like I said, 7
Sweet
viewers, here we
baby. Go. Right.
So WandaVision, if you haven't seen it, and we'll try not to spoil it so much. But
no, I don't want to spoil it. I just want to talk about how
like I said, we had already announced spoilers, so if you haven't seen WandaVision, any of it, just seriously, this is pretty much the ending segment. So
yeah.
Just watch this later after you watch the show, because it's good. It's really good. I know a lot of people are upset that the Mephisto stuff didn't happen. It's funny. I'd sat down and I'd thought about it, but I don't believe that the big bad of the show was Agatha. I think she was bad. She was a bad character, which we had called from the first episode.
Of bad.
Because when we had first watched the show, the moment they introduced Agatha, what did I say? The third face they introduce is always the bad one. She was the third face you saw. It was Wanda, it was Vision, and then it was Agatha.
I didn't want to believe it, you know. I really didn't want to believe it, but I absolutely loved what they did with her character.
Well, she goes by Agnes on the show, right? She starts as Agnes, and then she goes to Agatha at the end.
Yes.
When it was Agatha.
Yep.
I love that, actually.
Me too.
I saw a trap remix for that.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes the Duke Meister. Well, you're fine. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So, did you see WandaVision? Yes. Completely seen it?
Yes. Okay, good, because we're
spoiling it. This is the last segment of our recording. We just got done talking about Oblivion and Skyrim.
And
Yes. But yes, in WandaVision, I had called that Agnes was going to be the villain the moment we saw the face. It's this thing. If you watch movies and if you watch TV shows, normally they always introduce your two most important people immediately. You always get to meet them. Then the third person that they try to emphasize the importance on is almost always the bad person, even if it's just like they come in all cutesy ditzy, like just like Agnes did. And that was why I was like, yep, that's the bad person. I didn't know who she was in the comic books.
I thought Dolly was gonna play a bigger part because
funny enough, we saw on YouTube that
first scene with the glass shattering and everything.
So
you know,
she is.
I don't know. There's something precarious.
She is in the comic books, and apparently they used her as a red herring. Because in the comic books, she's from another universe.
She's also a witch.
And she's also a witch, and her color is yellow. And that is why her whole house and everything was yellow.
Did you catch the book?
Yes, as well. From Doctor Strange? Yes. So there was that as well at the end of the show.
Which I'm excited to see how they tie that in because I
we
love
have Doctor Strange. That's the next big thing coming out after Falcon Winter Soldier. And then we have Spider-Man, which I believe is supposed to close off this whole multiverse thing. So there's this funny thing. I know it's not true, but there's this weird little theory going around that somebody jokingly did. But if you look at the logo to the new Spider-Man movie and you look at the box, it actually is in the shape of Puerto Rico. Like down to a T, it is in the shape of Puerto Rico. Almost down to a complete T if you put PR in that map.
So a lot of people are speculating.
But I do think it was just people joking around, so it might have been a Photoshop. But I still thought that was funny. I was like, oh, I hope.
Yeah, it is intriguing.
That'd bring some good revenue to the island. But yeah, so that whole vision conversation, I like to believe that was the mind and the body talking.
Yeah, beautiful.
And it pretty much is what he summarizes. He's like, you are the body, and I am the mind. He's like, you are technically not me, but you are me, and I am technically me, but I'm not me. And that whole, I was like, I had a feeling Vision's fight was going to end with philosophical talking.
It was perfect,
because
honestly.
The way his fight with Ultron ended was philosophical talking. I love the fact that Vision from her own creation is so powerful that he was able to break the coding in the real, actual, physical Vision. And it was like the combining of mind and body. And I thought, and then the thing goes yellow, and I lost it.
Third eye.
Paul Bettany, A Knight's Tale. And that, I just saw a post on that on Facebook today. I shared it, and it was.
I think I saw it too.
There's 4 characters, all from. One of them's from Firefly. One of them's from Game of Thrones. He's Bobby B. Then you had Paul Bettany, who played the idiot poet, the bard of the group,
right?
Who was somehow philosophical but funny, and drunk all the time. Movie's great. And obviously the late and great Heath Ledger. So. Phenomenal actor, Paul Bettany. That is my favorite movie of his. Like, I love him as Vision. WandaVision will be my favorite TV show of his. But
most definitely, yeah. That's a movie I have to watch.
Also, what was her? Elizabeth Olsen, right?
Yep.
Yep, that's Wanda. Scarlet Witch.
Yep.
You know what?
Phenomenal job.
So underrated.
Phenomenal. She
so underrated.
Expressed grief well.
But I like that. The show, the big
Very
bad
well.
guy, the whole time was sadness. The show was like, Agatha's not
True.
really the bad guy. Agatha, if anything, was
happenstance
To
sadness.
help. She had her own gains, but she was like, yo, Wanda, I will help you gain control of this madness, just give me your power. Now, maybe she was really just going to kill her, obviously. But if you think about it, Agatha truly was the one thing keeping her together and not making this worse.
The entire time.
Something tells me Agatha is going to come into play in Multiverse of Madness, and I think she's going to kind of be a good guy, bad guy type, like Loki, where she's like working for herself, but
chaotic.
Yes, and I'm okay with that because it's about time we got our female Loki. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
we have Hiddleston getting his own show, so we got the Loki show coming out, which apparently also involves Doctor Strange, I believe.
Like to see that.
Yes, I also believe that Steve Rogers is probably, I think, God, which Chris was it again? Not Hemsworth. Not Pratt. That's Star-Lord. Chris Evans.
Chris Evans.
Yes, I believe Chris Evans spoke up recently and said he would gladly come back to the role of Captain America if they needed him to. So they might be planning a way to work him into some future stuff, which is fine because you have the multiverse going on right now. So if you want to bring Peggy and Kat back in modern times to keep that going. But also I think that we should let Falcon have his time to shine. Yes, especially him, actually, because he definitely went to a parallel universe to live out his life with Peggy. Because, I don't know. I mean, he could have been around this whole time. To be fair, S.H.I.E.L.D. probably knew.
Oh.
I remember they had the show for her, and I was so upset. Agent Carter was so good.
You've told me a lot about that.
I was so mad. I remember I used to have a catheter at Mommy's trailer, right? And,
yeah.
I used to actually wait every weekday. I'd make sure I had off that day of the week to go home and watch Peggy. I didn't watch anything but Agent Carter.
That's what you look forward to.
I did look forward to it actually at the time.
Wow.
Yes, you saw a lot about Tony's dad. Kind of the grief she goes through after losing Captain America, because at this time period, Captain America was dead. That was it.
At that
sunk,
point, right? There's
we didn't know he was coming out of the water. And then in the future, when Howard Stark realizes that he can, or Tony Stark, I believe, finds the body, he was like, "Oh snap! My dad's been looking this guy for years." And then obviously, if you've seen the Incredible Hulk movie, you'll see Captain America's body at the end of it, which is one of the cool things, or at the beginning of it. Oh, okay, it was at the end. He tries to bite a bullet, basically tries to kill himself, he says in Avengers.
Yep.
And then he hulks out and shatters the glass, and within the glass you see Captain America's. He was encased in ice, and you see the ice flying by.
Interesting.
And then at the end, after the credits, Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr.'s first appearance on screen as Tony Stark, happens, and it's him trying to hey, Avengers Initiative, and then the Hulk, I'm pretty sure, says no.
Wow, I didn't realize he was introduced in the Incredible Hulk movie.
Was it the Incredible Hulk movie? It was the one with Abomination.
Abomination was the bad guy there.
Yes, so that was the movie. Good movie. But anyways, back to WandaVision.
Right.
I can't wait. I believe there's going to be a lot happening, a lot changing. I think
Is there actually said to be a second season?
Because of the success of this one, I think they will. I don't want them to. This is one of those, they ended it so perfectly, it needs to just end.
They really did.
It needs to lead to the movies. I know a lot of people are upset about the multiverse, but my theory is, why would you introduce something in the movies or in the show where not as many people are going to watch it, or so they thought.
Right, or so they thought.
Honestly, if you watch WandaVision and you binge watch it, it's kind of like just one big...
It is, yes, it is
it
just
totally
one big movie.
is.
But
that's what's so encapturing about it.
That's the thing, is that I don't think they introduced the multiverse, because I'm sure they have to bring the X-Men in, and you can't just introduce the X-Men they've been hiding this whole time. I think that's where Strange's movie's coming in. Strange's movie and then Spider-Man's movie is going to put a lot of things, because Spider-Man's movie, they're putting in too many actors. The original Dr. Octopus, but then they're Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man.
Wow.
Now, that could be nothing. That could be. But I also believe that having Peter Evans play joke Quicksilver was not really a joke, and I believe because I remember in an episode they said something infiltrated, and they never went back to that. And it was the same episode he appeared. So something tells me that was the first signs of the multiverse of madness. That was the first crack, was him, because that boy in the X-Men universe was wild. Quicksilver went from being a complete nobody. You know, because Quicksilver, I don't want to say he was nobody in the comics, but he was kind of not movie material. They killed him off in one movie, and then the other movie did him perfect.
I see.
Well, they changed that. He's no longer Magneto's son. That's the problem. Yeah, Marvel did that. I'm sure they did it for the movies so that they can explain Quicksilver and Wanda. But now that they're going forward and they have the rights to the X-Men, they can always go back on that, because how many times has comic book done that?
Too many.
Just a speculation. I looked on IMDb or whatever, the movie website, and when you look up Doctor Strange World of Madness and you look at the cast, mutants, Deadpool, he's there. Ryan Reynolds is in the cast of Doctor Strange of Madness.
See what I'm saying?
So, like, I don't know who he might be playing, but, I mean, it's just speculation.
I do believe, like I said, my theory is Multiverse of Madness, and I think that Peter Evans, Quicksilver, because that Deadpool and Quicksilver and those X-Men are from the same universe. That was confirmed in Deadpool 2 when he's in the X house with Colossus and they're having the meeting and they make the joke about the X-Men and literally the cast is in the room and they're like, and they shut the doors before he can notice. So, and then the joke was they couldn't afford them on the budget.
Oh,
because Deadpool breaks the, So.
Breaks the budget.
Now, like I said, I'm 100% on this. I really do. Either they're trying to fool us a little bit, but I doubt it, because Deadpool's being introduced into the Marvel Universe. That's already been confirmed. And if you're going to tell me that Doctor Strange followed up by Spider-Man are not the two best opportunities to showcase Deadpool, like if you're going to introduce anybody, well, now forget the mutants. If you're going to take anyone out of the mutant universe that can pull it off the best, why not the guy that can acknowledge he's in a movie?
Deadpool. Fair enough.
Yes, if they replace him, that's fine, because once again, multiverse.
Multiverse.
You can just be like, this one's from another universe who got introduced to the X-Men from this universe who are now. And I think
it actually gives it a realistic
that they need to wait until the
lining.
movies to do this. And I think that they're going to solve the problem with Doctor Strange followed by Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man will be the, No Way Home is the perfect. Because part of me was like, either that means Sony is just kind of done with the Spider-Man thing and maybe he's going to go to another universe and not come back and feel like he's the protector of that universe, and that's Sony's way of trying to pull the actors.
Huh, I wonder.
But if you ask me, that's a bad business deal. Don't get rid of Spider-Man from Disney, especially not when you're making the money that they're making off of him right now being an Avenger.
Fair.
Just work together. I mean,
it's never going to happen. This isn't how...
let Marvel be Marvel.
I wish they would let our comic books and our superheroes be them, but it's just not how it's going to be. But, hey... That's okay. WandaVision was phenomenal. We got Falcon Winter Soldier next week, and I'll watch it.
Expected.
I'll be on it. I'm going to give him a chance because next week, I believe, yeah. And WandaVision threw me off. I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was.
I think what I loved most about WandaVision, too, is if you're somebody who doesn't have a lot of background and is well-versed in Marvel and the many small worlds within it, you can easily watch it and get into it, because I'm not somebody who's well versed in all that stuff enough to theorize, at least.
I think WandaVision,
but I was instantly hooked.
Was peak Marvel cinematic. Like, it was by far the best Marvel had to offer.
You could tell they put a lot of
They literally were changing their frame from full screen like it used to be to literally widescreen, which is our modern day norm.
Right.
I could not. The changing of the colors, the subliminal
artistic masterpiece.
The people in charge
in that
of Marvel,
respect,
the people that are in charge of Marvel right now are the best. But yeah.
Even in WandaVision, I don't know, towards the end, right there towards the end, she was, I believe, researching or finding out a way to get her kids back or something. That was also implied in one of the comics with Agatha. Agatha was so into finding out more about her kids, like.
Yes.
You don't think it's weird that
your
a
kids
cybernetic robot and a witch
what happened
together and had kids?
What happened in the comic book was that I believe Agnes was the one to find out that her kids were truly of her imagination, and she just made them appear out of nowhere into reality. And then she was like, "Hey, honey, snap out of it." And then Wanda snapped, and that led us to one of our first major crises where she breaks the universe.
Right.
She's like, "Where are my kids?" I totally think Wanda's going to be the reason for Multiverse of Madness. She's going to try to do something to pull her kids back from that book.
Proven she's got enough power to do so. By far. Right.
Chaos magic.
Chaos.
So
I loved the name of that, but
yeah, I can't wait to get more into this. We'll have our next
gaming episode,
which will be next month. So we'll have more news for you on what's going on or what I saw that was interesting. Thank you guys for tuning in
and listening as always. It's been fun.
We're gonna leave you off with the rest of this song. I hope you guys have a wonderful day.
You have a great night.